Yo, did she really say that?
No, I think she did.
What's good, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sistas review. This is season 4, episode 10, entitled Our Favorite Places. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment if you choose to. If you don't, you can just listen. That's all good too. So without further ado, let's get into this thing. Now, the episode opens up with Zach and us finding out what the hell he has been arrested for. So supposedly, Zach has a 3-year-old child, a 3-year-old son, to be more specific. And he has been arrested for back child support in the total of $37,000, I believe it was. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, I don't know personally anything about obtaining child support, but I've been around a whole lot of people who have had to deal with this issue. And I'm not saying, in certain states, certain things. I've never seen the FBI get involved in a child support situation. Now, they'll suspend your license. They'll, do stuff with your checking accounts and all that stuff like that. But I'm like, so wait a minute. The person who's trying to get this money, where were you at when Zach didn't have anything? I'm just trying to understand what has caused you to come out of the woodworks now. And Zach is, fervently denying the fact that this is his child. And I'm just like, wait, 3? Hold on. So if the child 3 years old, you was with Karen for 3 years. So Zach has been out here slanging unprotected peen for years. You know what I'm saying? The fact that this man has had so many, pregnancy scares and stuff like that, I'm like, dude, wrap it up. So basically, they were trying to see how they could get him out. Now, I ain't never heard, first of all, a money order. You know how many money orders you would have to have to total up $37,000? And the lawyer was like, yeah, I'm going to see if I can get the judge. Ain't no judge. I said, Tyler, I'm already mad at you for this whack ass storyline that you're trying to pull with Zach and this possible child of his. It was just seemed too much. That's all I got to say. Zach was in jail. Zach basically told Jake that he does have cash, but it's home in a safe, and he's the only person who knows the password or the code. And so Jake was like, just give it to me. And I do understand Zach kind of being like, wait a minute, bro, I don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying? So Jake was like, well, I'll pay it and then you just pay me back. Now, this is the one thing I've always said about Zach. It baffles me, and I understand he's in the situation and that it is not, something that is for his benefit. I get it. But I'm like, it amazes me how Zach talks to people who's actually trying to help him. His attitude alone would just really turn me off from trying to do anything to help him in any type of situation. So Danni and Andy, let me just say, Manon and KJ Smith looked absolutely stunning in this scene. I thought they were absolutely gorgeous. It was working. You know what I'm saying? The blue on Manon. KJ, I want to say it was black. Sometimes it looked blue. I don't know. Maybe that's just my eyes. But whatever the color. Sis and them look good. They look really good. So Danni brought up the fact that her and Andy do not hang out like that. She was like, it's always, the 4 of us, or you and Karen, or me and Sabrina. And I think out of the entire series, this was really the first time that has been acknowledged in that way. The audience, we know, what I'm saying? It's always Karen, especially in the previous seasons. It's always Karen and Andy, Sabrina and Danni. There is a divide within the friendship. I don't necessarily have an issue with, you being closer to 1 or 2 people within your village or your circle. But with them, it is very evident that there is something going on with them within their friendship as to why it's so heavily divided. So hopefully we can kind of understand the purpose or why. So Andy was kind of in denial because she was like, name a time. And she couldn't think of one. There was never a time that it was just her and Danni. But basically, Danni knew exactly what was up. She knew exactly why she was there. So Danni was like, I'm going to just go ahead and get this free dinner and these free drinks, and I'm going to purchase my lunch tomorrow. I said, Danni is the prime example of a broke friend. So basically, she was like, I know you here because basically I'm here because you want me to agree with you. You want me to make you feel better about your decisions. And it also amazes me how these women at times can give each other great advice. I'm talking about top of the line, top tier advice, yet their life is in shambles. It applies to Karen, it applies to Andy, it applies to Danni and Sabrina. They can give each other this great advice about what they should do, yet it's like when you look at yourself in the mirror, sis, do you not see how jacked up your situation is? Okay. So basically, Danni told her, I think you should keep everything. Andy wanted to know if Danni believes she should be with Gary. And she was like, oh, absolutely not. I always feel this way about, even with Danni, I believe that all of the women have some type of sensitivity to Andy, because I believe if Danni was talking to Karen in a moment where some dude was, putting hands on her or just, manipulating her and things of that nature, I think Danni would have more of an aggressive approach, even towards Sabrina. I think she would have more of an aggressive approach to how she would relay her message or her advice. But when it comes to Andy, all of them in a way they coddle her or baby her. And I believe it's because they know she's been abused before. But it's like, to me, that's even more reason to like just be gung-ho about the fact, like, sis, you need to get away from this. This is not something you need to play with. But I do know that you're going to do what you want to do. And that's basically what Danni told Andy. So Preston shows up. Okay, Preston shows up to, what's her name? Andy sees him first. Now I'm trying to figure out, has Andy ever met Preston? Y'all please help me with that. Has Andy ever met Preston? Has she ever seen him? I don't remember that. I know Sabrina has, of course, and we know that Karen has. But I'm like, when did Andy meet Preston or see Preston? If y'all could help me with that, because I definitely do not remember that as I'm doing this review. But I thought that was odd because she knew exactly who he was. He was coming in and, with this other woman. I said, well, okay, Preston. All right. So Andy was getting ready to go. She left her card with Danni. Never the hell. Danni is not even responsible for her own financial situation. You think I'm about to leave you with my card? I don't think so. So she was telling her, please, like, don't go talk to him. Don't go up there. So Andy leaves. So I'm going to just finish this whole thing out. So Danni goes over to Preston as we knew she would. She introduces herself to the young lady that he's with. Now, I find it ironic because she was like, oh, I know you. She was like, you do? Yeah. Zach introduced us. And then it's been stated that Zach introduced this young lady and Preston. And Zach and Preston was like, no, he didn't. And she was like, he didn't, as if, yes, the hell he did. So I'm trying to understand how Zach is the common denominator in these two other women that Preston has been out on a date on. People jump down Karen's throat, call her a liar, and Zach would never do that. I'm just trying to understand, like, how is this happening right now? How is Zach introducing Preston to all these women? I don't know, but that can't really be stated as a fact because we really don't know. Just the way Tyler wrote it, it could be, yeah, he did. And it also could be, no, he didn't. So basically, the girl was picking up the vibes and she was like, y'all mess around? And he was like, no. And then it was basically saying, like, we F a lot. I said, oh, Father in heaven. Really? Really, Danni? And so her and Preston was going back and forth a little bit. I just don't like the fact that, hey, he's out on a date. He's with someone. Y'all handle y'all stuff privately. Whatever y'all dealing with, because Danni was like, oh, so he talked to you about cows and like bluegrass music. And she was like, no, we talk about politics and hip hop. I was like, oh, well, okay. Wasn't expecting that, but okay. So it was just weird. It was just like a weird situation. At this point, I don't even want Danni and Preston together because it's like, just leave each other alone. And I'm going to be honest, I really think Preston is on some BS right now. I know a lot of people love to come to his defense, but the reason why I say I think he's on BS is because, one, you took, what was her name, Tanya? I can't think of nobody's name right now. You took Tanya back to Karen's salon to get her hair done after you supposedly messed it up with hopes that either Danni would be there or that Karen would call Danni. So he did admit that. Then you take a girl to Danni's favorite restaurant on a night that she possibly would be there. I think Preston on some BS right now, but we'll see. We'll see. So moving right along. Y'all remember that song by Khalees is super old. But she was screaming on the track that I hate you so much right now. That's how I feel every time I see Q. That song repeatedly plays in my mind every time I see Q pop up on the TV screen. Now, when the scene first came on, initially I was trying to understand why Calvin was acting as if he did not know that Maurice didn't invite Q, because I remember last episode he put Maurice on speakerphone and we all found out at the same time, no, I didn't invite him there. He shouldn't be there. Maurice told Q to get the hell out of his house, so on and so forth. So I'm like, because I remember stating in my previous review, like, why didn't Calvin call the police when he heard Maurice state, I did not invite him here. I did not invite him to our home. Nevertheless, Q is in Maurice's bedroom, in his bed, butt naked. I said, what in all the hell is this? What is... I'm so mad at Tyler for giving Maurice this whack ass storyline, because I'm just like, this is an absolute joke. This is an absolute joke. And Brian, who plays Maurice, he is a marvelous actor. And I'm like, he is not being utilized to his greatest, abilities at all. Just what is going on, Tyler? I hated the whole thing. He's in Maurice's bed. He's naked. Calvin stayed in there a little too long for me. He was looking a little too long for my liking, but we'll get back to that. Well, no, we're not coming back to that. He was just in there a little too long. And so Maurice, he, of course, liked what he wanted. He was tempted. I was like, Maurice, please don't do this. Why y'all acting so nonchalant about this robber who had a gun to your head? Like, that still baffles me. I don't even have much to say about that. Q eventually left. Maurice went into the bathroom. Q eventually left and basically tried to guilt trip Calvin about how, yeah, nobody cares about me. That's the problem. No one has had it as hard as I have. And shut up. I was like, please shut up. Please shut up. I said, it's just the fact that this brother, I'm trying not to say that word too much. This brother is sitting here trying to put his woe me, why me on someone else who has lost a father. Calvin got his own stuff, going on. And I'm just like, that's why we can never judge. Don't nobody know your story like you do. Don't nobody know my story like I do. And it's like, we'll be quick to tell somebody what they haven't experienced, what they haven't gone through. You don't know the struggle. You don't know. But Q can kick rocks, truly, with no shoes or socks on. That and I'm gonna just move on from that scene because it really wasn't nothing there. So Karen and Pam. So Karen is at work, look like possibly closing up. Pam is on the phone. So Pam gathers the information about Zach. She finds out that the lady that came to the salon was indeed a police officer, and there is a warrant out for Zach's arrest. However, she could not get the information about what the warrant was for. Here goes Super Save a Hole Karen. I'm sorry, she pissed me off. Excuse me. Here comes Karen. She immediately calls Zach. She doesn't get an answer. Of course, he's in jail. She leaves a message. Then she gets up to go to his house. I said, Tyler, what? Wait a minute. The fact that Karen is so invested in Zach's business, that is for me. That is a huge problem. This girl is continuing to be written as if she is so desperate that she needs to know everything that's going on with Zach. She needs to inform him of everything. And I'm just like, why? Like, come on. Like, the fact that, number one, she's already the most hated, pretty much, character on the show. And episode by episode, she continues to do things that are very questionable and disrespectful. So my whole thing is this: you and Zach are not together. You and Zach are not even friends, to the point that you can just pop up at his house unannounced. Really, he's in a relationship. You know that. You got to make peace with that, but you are in the understanding of that information. You just gonna pop up at his house. But anyway, so let me just go ahead and finish that. Now, when Fatima shows up, she finds Karen standing outside of her car, just looking at the house. Now, I must say, the first part of this was my favorite scene of the episode, because Karen and Fatima actually had dialogue. They actually were conversing with each other. A lot of times when I watch Sistas, one of the things that irritates me to the extreme is that these characters say words, but they're really not saying anything. Y'all know what I mean. They're either being repeated or you're going through a whole scene, nothing was accomplished because you didn't say nothing. You were speaking, but they really weren't saying nothing. No whole sentences. So that's what I really liked about this scene, is that it was a true moment. It was a moment of vulnerability and honesty for Karen to admit to the fact that, I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be jealous. I actually want to be happy for him and you. I'm just not in that place right now. That's honest and that's real. And I can understand. And I do like the fact of how Fatima was like, I get it. And I appreciate your honesty. Now I'm going to tell y'all straight up though, throw a little clause in there. I'm just saying, you pop up to my house to see my man, I ain't gonna jump off crazy at you. I'm gonna hear you out initially. I would trip it on the fact that she wanted to speak to Zach alone. For what? That would have been me. What you gotta? What's going on? What you gotta tell him? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Karen, as of now, you the possible baby mama, until we know for sure. But you couldn't tell Fatima the real reason why you showed up there. So yes, Zach's car was parked there. So Fatima goes in the house, and this scene pissed me off too, because I'm like, if Fatima knew that Zach had been arrested, do that dude really think she would come in there all happy and cheerful and gleeful? I'm like, you can honestly tell and obviously tell that this woman doesn't know. So Tyler pissed me off with what that dude was saying. I'm like, he just got on my nerves. So when Fatima found out that Zach was arrested, of course she's like, oh my God, like any woman would be. So she goes out. She didn't tell Karen, but she was like, Zach isn't here. And she was like, his car is still, like, you lying? And she was like, Karen, you can go in and see for yourself. Like, I'm not lying. No, that's okay. And I said, see, that's the mess that pissed me off. We had a great moment. We had a good moment between these two women. And then Karen had to go back into her little, no, you lying, you this. She got a little attitude. And I'm like, see, why can't we just be great? Why can't we, y'all seen Boys in the Hood, where the girl was like, can we just have one night where ain't no fight, nobody get shot? That's how I felt. Like, damn, Karen, can we have one episode, one scene where you ain't got no attitude, where you can fully just be mature about something? Made me mad. But anyway, I did the first half of that scene. I really enjoyed it. I loved Fatima's maturity. I loved even Karen's maturity and her outward expression of really how she felt without attitude and without malice. And I wish it could have, continued out with that entire scene. But of course, it's Tyler Perry, so it didn't. So Sabrina and Danni. Danni goes over to Sabrina's house. I saw that a lot of people had an issue with this scene, but I'm gonna ride for Danni on this because I do understand. Didn't really like it, but I get it. So her and Sabrina were going back and forth. Sabrina obviously knew the reason why Andy wanted to talk to Danni. And, she started telling Danni about, bio or what have you. Danni was telling her about, old cop, I'm just playing hard to get, but, I think I'm whatever. And I was like, oh, so now you playing hard to get. Last week you weren't interested. You were very adamant, but now you're just playing hard to get. Okay, Danni, see, this the BS I be talking about. So basically, when Sabrina told Danni about the amount of money that Bio has, Danni quickly grabbed her phone. No, Danni, don't do it. I'm supposed to meet Calvin tonight. No. I said, Sabrina, if you don't put some bass in your voice. So basically, Danni was like, what's his name? Well, I know his number in here, which it was. And she goes to him and sends him a text message about them meeting. So no, Danni, don't do that. Now, that's where a lot of people had a lot of things to say because they felt like Danni was wrong. They felt like that Danni had no place to do what she did. And it was like a violation. Now, I agree. I agree completely. However, did we see Sabrina snatch that phone? Danni did exactly what Sabrina wanted her to do. Danni does exactly what Sabrina isn't brave enough or have the confidence to do herself. That's what Danni did. Now, oh, shoot. Oh, Father. Now, I didn't find it funny. That's not something I would have done. But I do understand that with Sabrina was cool with what Danni did. We saw she ain't had no problem getting ready because we saw baby girl in that glitter dress I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But Danni did exactly what Sabrina wanted her to do. So I get what everybody was saying. And like I said, I do agree. But you could tell within the dynamic of their friendship, Sabrina was cool with it. So Andy and Robin, I said, so is Robin just going to be on a jet the rest of the season? He just going to be flying in the air? Because the last couple of times we've seen Robin has been on his plane. So basically, he was picking up vibes that Andy could possibly be back with Gary. Andy tried to deny it, but we all know what's going to happen. A little bit. We all know what's going to happen. So they ain't really say much. So then I think she talked to Gary. Let me tell y'all something. This episode, it was a struggle. Do you hear me? The struggle was real. I was like, damn, this show's still on? God, it felt like it was such the longest episode ever. But I want to say she talked to Gary and they were going out to dinner. Yeah, because she was trying to just, prep herself up to say, it's just dinner. It's just dinner. Okay, whatever. So we're going to see what happens. So, Sabrina and Bayo. Okay, Sabrina in her little glitter dress was all done up. Novi Brown is gorgeous. I think Novi Brown is such a beautiful black woman. Her skin, her complexion, her confidence. If y'all follow baby girl on Instagram and Twitter, you know what I mean. I love me some Novi. But anyway, she was looking all cute and stuff. And, Bayo, she was looking at him like she wanted to take a bite, okay, of that chocolate. I ain't blame her. I was like, dang, he look good. He look a little, okay, Bayo. And so, they're having their little talk or whatever. And in the back, I said, was that Calvin? Was that Calvin? So we found out, yes, the hell, it was Calvin. Calvin came and I said, oh my God. Basically, he was like, oh, so last time you interrupted my date, I'm going to interrupt yours. Now, this is how I feel. Calvin and Sabrina are not exclusive. Sabrina can date anyone who she chooses to. So can Calvin. My hope is that these women just become definitive in a decision. Let these men know what's up from the jump. Let them know what's up. So, which brings me to Karen's ass. Karen and Aaron. Now, don't get me wrong. This is my personal opinion. I feel like Aaron, I do understand his eagerness to find out how far along Karen is because he wants to know if it's his baby or not. I get that. However, I think Aaron is being a little bit too pushy and it would be a turn off for me. But I don't think I would have an attitude with him. I think if I was in that situation, my attitude would be, if I have had sex with both of these men in a certain period of time, and there is a possibility that he could be the father and that old boy could be the father, I should have a mind to say, I want to put these men mind at ease and mine as well, because I want to know who is the father of my unborn child. The attitude that Karen has with Aaron right now is, like he said, like you act like I'm working your nerves. Now, even though she agreed to go to the doctor, I'm going to be at the salon, you can come pick me up. He set everything up for her. I was just like, why your attitude so stank? The fact that you had so much giddy up in your ass to go and make sure you told Zach what was going on with him. Now you have such a disgust for Aaron because he wants to know whether or not you're carrying his child. And I think just from a man's perspective, not a dude, so I don't know. And fellas, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I would think that a man wants to know if a woman is carrying his child, that he could be there. He can go to the doctor's appointments, that he can, speak to the woman's belly and, things. There's certain things you want to do, especially if you're trying to build a relationship with that person, or even if it's Zach's child, it's like, okay, we may not be together, but there may be things that he wants to do as well. I just feel like the way that Tyler has written this situation is disgusting in my personal opinion, as far as Karen's attitude about finding out. But like I said, I would want to know immediately. For whatever reason, Karen is, dragging her feet and being so full about this situation. To me, it says a lot, but that's just how the way that I would handle, if that was me. So this is not the last scene. The last scene was definitely Sabrina and Bio, but I'm gonna just hit on this a little bit. When Maurice and Calvin were talking about, being careful with his heart and, the things he's doing with Q, I can understand where Calvin was coming from. When you watching someone that you love, a friend of yours, make stupid decisions about their love life or whatever. I don't even understand this situation. That's why it's so puzzling to me watching Maurice get caught up with Q, especially him expressing that he's a good guy and the things that he's been through. It's like, so what? Maurice explained to us a few weeks back that when he was a child, he walked in, he saw his father's dead body. Like, I can't even imagine what that would do to a child. So Maurice got his own stuff. And it's the fact that he can find compassion and a sensitivity for Q, yet Tyler has written it for Maurice to always use humor and comedy to cover up his stuff, to not deal with his stuff, which I think that's a very real thing. But it's like, I just feel like Brian is being so underutilized because he's such a great talent. And it just makes me feel so bad that this is his actual storyline right now. But anyway, that's just my two piece, on that situation. But that was Sistas. I believe next week is the mid-season finale, which I need a break. Because Sistas, they be stressing me out. And I'm like, for what? Because there's not even nothing that really be happening on the show. You know what I'm saying? We about to go into the 11th week of being in season 4 and what really has happened. You know what I'm saying? But, that's just my little piece on it. I think I got everything, y'all. If I didn't, I am so sorry. So sorry if I didn't. But I think I did. Like I said, favorite scene, definitely the first half of Fatima and Karen. Least favorite scene, I think my least favorite, Q. Anything with Q. When Maurice came into there, it's the audacity for me. It's audacity for me when it comes to Q. You in this man bed. I would have put hands on Q. I really would have put hands on Q. And then we saw Maurice. I forgot to mention in that part. He pushed Q on the bed as if he was about to get on top of him. I said, what is going on? What is going on? That scene, I was so confused. I'm like, well, what the hell is happening right now? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know, y'all. But anyway, that was Sistas season 4, episode 10, entitled Our Favorite Places. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The review or whatnot. And, we going to see what happened next week. Hopefully it's some excitement. You know what I'm saying? We saw a little bit of the preview, but I'm going to wait and I'm going to do another video on that when they release the full 30-second clip. I'll come back and give y'all a review on that. Or a breakdown on that. So until next time, I will holler at y'all later. When